Okay, you should, in theory, be able to see my screen with the July 2025 xBrat ASP core updates. Yes, Mel, it's looking pretty good. Getting back to stocks trading, I think next week we'll see how that summer volume goes. And we'll see. The stocks predator's killing it at the moment, though, and we're just about to launch the subscription because we filled up our sort of beta tester slots. So we're going to open it up now to everybody else for subscription. So that's good. But anyway, today is all about the new core update. So I've actually pre-recorded what I'm going through now, and that's going to be released at Saturday on Saturday. But I'm going to go through this really quickly and get to the charts just to show you those updates because there's quite a lot in there. So there's some big updates coming to the core of all of the ASBs. P&L protection upgrades. So there's some additions there, and they've been really sort of led by users that are doing it for funded trading purposes. So we've put more additions into that and able to sort of really control it a little bit more. Scheduling updates are pretty cool, so we'll go through those. And then the alerts upgrades are massive because we can send push notifications to the phone now. It's brilliant. And then we've done some behind the scenes with improved error checking for unresponsive orders, streamlining that user interface on the back end so it's quicker to load up, and then some upgrades to the front end as well. So P&L protection first. I'm going to go through this really quickly. Before we just had a max profit and a max loss, but now we can add more rules to coincide all at the same time as well. And we've also added things like weekly account profit percentage, weekly realized account, daily instrument, and weekly instrument. So you go by instrument and look at what you're trying to make per week or per day, and those P&Ls protection. So even if you're trading, for example, range breakout and slingshot on the same instrument, if you reach your $1,500 target for the instrument, then everything else will switch off for that instrument and you've reached your weekly sort of P&L, that sort of thing. So, and then you can add rules as well. I'm going to show you some instances of that. So that's really, really important when we are looking at those, the weekly account profit as well, or the daily account profit is also very important when we're doing that funded trader stuff as well. Maximum number of wins and losses is pretty much the same, but what we've done is also added a net per strategy, enable or net per day. And I'll go through that in a little while. So basically, when we hover over any of these rules on the back end, you get this coming up here to explain what it is. Okay, we've done all of that. So all you need to do is hover and it will explain exactly what that does. Okay. So we got max loss, max profit, and then obviously those trading max drawdowns as well are quite important there. And we've added those weekly and dailies there. So what we have are again, these net per strategy and net per day basically means it's the net number of wins minus the number of losses. And then that strategy is halted. So some examples here, for example, max rule 1 is weekly instrument account profit percentage is 10%. Yeah. So get reach 10%, it takes me out. Or if we're on a certain day, my daily strategy profit amount is $300. Yeah. So that's a rule that we can add more rules to that particular ASB now, whereas before we could only add one. And then obviously on the loss side, weekly realized account loss is at this point is minus 5%, and again, I've added a different rule here. For an example, daily strategy loss amount is $300. And And then max number of wins net per day is 5. So say we had 7 trades, 2 losers, and 5 winners. It'll stop trading. And then we had this before, max number of losses consecutive per day. Again, the recording of this particular training is coming out of the weekend. So now scheduling updates. So we can block real-time trading disabled during news events, which is pretty cool. And we can either block and display news events. So what happens is on the scheduling part now, we can say, if you enable date blocking, also we can enable things like FOMC. Okay. And then the normal sessions, 15 sessions for days of the week, times the day, that sort of thing. That was there before. The date blocking is pretty cool for literally just putting the FOMC dates for the rest of the year. Block those dates, dead simple. So let's have a look at how that works. Basically, we're using the Trading Buddy. We're using the Trading Buddy logic in this. So if we collect, block, and display, and we say high impact pre-news buffer 5 minutes, so stop trading 5 minutes before, post-news buffer 15. That's there, and that's a high. And then, for example, on the medium, this is what's shown on the chart there. So you would have medium in orange, high in red, and it would display that on the chart of what's coming up, and it will stop trading that. Okay. And then we can actually show the time or the countdown. For example, we've got time and countdown on here, and we can see T minus 2 hours and 2 minutes and the time of the day when that particular data comes out. So we can change that display. Or we can actually, we can say the country rather than the currency and that sort of thing. So this is what it looks like on the chart where you have the news events there. You can display it if you want, you don't have to. And you can see in here where it's yellow, it stops trading, which is pretty cool. I'm actually in a slingshot long at the moment on gold. So I'm just going to switch. And there's another order coming in. I'm testing to destruction, really. So let me just switch the screens I'm sharing right now. It's all going off. Stop share. Share. Okay, should be able to see this now. So I'm actually 2 contracts. One contract is with the slingshot. What I'm doing is I haven't really optimized these. All I've done is optimize them for different types of data coming out. You see all this yellow on here is when it wouldn't trade because I had low, medium, and high on here. The first contract was on the slingshot, and that is just about to hit target 2. The second one, I don't know what it's on at the moment, so let me have a look. GC. Oh, it's on there somewhere. I don't know which one it is. Slingshot's on already. So what have we got? It's definitely not that. I've got another one on somewhere. I'm going to try and figure out where it is because all I'm doing is just trying to run as many as I can all at the same time to try and break it. Okay, so yeah, this is in at the moment. So with the others, for example, this one xBrat algo is active, but that was only high. So it's showing no more because it looks 12 hours in advance on the news. And then the others are active and there's nothing on there because what I wanted to do was test making sure that we have the low, the medium, and the high to make sure that they were stopping at the time. You get these yellow things here to say, hey, this is trading right now. So that's pretty cool. We do have a trade on somewhere, and I need to find it with another one. It's probably roller coaster, most likely. Yeah. Okay. Let's go back to the presentation. Let me just put that back on there a second. Stop share. And then we'll start share again. This time screen share. Okay, so let's get back to this. So yeah, when the yellow forms, you see here it says news event in progress, and you'll obviously that's why it stopped trading at that point, because you can see that we do get some reversals a lot of the time when these news events come out. So now we can automate that process, so you don't have to remember to come back to the computer to to take it off what during those news events and those data events and things like that. And this is what again, I'll show you a little bit. This is what the pushover app looks like as well. When those news events come through, you get a push notification as well for those particular news strategies, which is pretty cool. And again, here we can see this is now active. So the news event's over and it's ready to start trading again. And this is an example where I was in a trade last week and the news event came, it took me out. Look what happened afterwards. Okay. After the news event, this is what happened. So this got out that 5 minutes before, in fact, this is 3 minutes. So 3 minutes before the news event, when my yellow started, it basically took me out. Okay. And it took the profit. So again, it works in different ways. But one thing you cannot do with this, because it's live and it only looks forward, is you can't do back testing with this. This is a live element to the VWAP Predator and it only looks forward. And again, you see here, it says news event. That's why it was sold at that point there. Okay. It didn't hit targets. It didn't hit a support and resistance zone from the Guardian zones and automatically it took profit because there's a news event. Okay, so the next thing we're going to be looking at is you can actually then filter just things that affect the US dollar or US dollar and euro or US dollar and Japanese yen or whatever. You can actually filter that by the currency filter as well, what's going to affect. Because depending on what you're trading, for example, I know soybean, for example, that's not really going to be affected a lot by euro or GBP. It's going to be affected by USD. So you can actually filter those out by that as well. And also title filter. You could just put unemployment claims, comma, FOMC statement, comma, CPI, that sort of thing. Date blocking. So this is how date blocking works. Basically, you choose a file. So what you do is, for example, and you could flatten on the start of that block date. So basically, any trades get flattened and you won't take any more trades for that day. So, and you can use a text file or a CSV. For me, it's easy to do a text file. Go and find out when the FOMC meetings and decisions are on these dates for the rest of the year, July 30th, blah, blah, blah. Put them into a little text file in the format that it does. Okay, that target was hit for slingshot and profit taken. And then that's the name of the file. So again, that's the file, add the file, and then it just won't trade on those days. Simple. Okay. And then what we have already, it's the same sort of thing. We have 15 sessions where you can trade at certain times of the day, days of the week, that sort of thing. That and standard, and again, it is what we had before. Okay, so this one, Monday, 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. And again, it flattens shutdowns, and it's a warning, it's not a guarantee because there could be a sort of data error issue. So always best to be there if you can. And again, days of the week, every day of the week between 9:30 and 4 p.m. End action flatten. So alerts upgrades, these are the big upgrades for alerts, which are pretty cool. So, but there's a warning that comes with this, that alert delivery can fail. Okay, so we're relying on a network. We're relying on the ASB and the NinjaTrader to send a signal to the push app, and that's sending that. The latency is literally less than a second at the moment. I've not had an issue, but there could be, okay? So there's no substitute for human supervision and proper risk management. But so basically we can either, we've already got email, but we can have push or email and push notifications. Basically, you've got to install the pushover app on your phone. So it's free for 30 days and it's £4.99 for the rest of your life. Okay, really, really simple to use. It's took a lot of development to build it in. But basically, go and sign up and you get this and you get your user key. So then you've got to log into the web version. For the web version, you see a user key there. And you're going to go to applications down here to get your API token. So I put NTASBs, create application, and I got my API token key. Okay, it's very simple. Even I could do it. Then you basically put in, for example, on your alerts, if you just wanted strategy status change to push, you would put your pushover user key and your API token key in there. And if you wanted them all push, for example, you would have them on there. And that's what the push notifications look like to come in. Again, look at that, 0700 hours. That's when I have that starting, and it's literally straight away. So again, that was a quick overview. P&L protection upgrades, scheduling upgrades, alerts upgrades, and then behind the scenes sort of stuff. So let's just stop that share and go over to the charts now. Any questions so far? Right, let me just find that Zoom thing again. I'm not used to doing this on two screens, although they're very large screen. I'm not used to doing it. So as you can see here, we did have that particular trade on the ASB took profit at target 2, which it's supposed to do. I need to find where this other trade is. Let me have a look. It's on the VWAP Predator. There we go. This is the VWAP Predator signal here. So it's taking on the VWAP Predator. Forget the loss down here. All I'm doing is it running without any optimization because I want to break this before we send it out, and I haven't broke it yet. So I've got all 5 running on gold, and I still haven't broke it. Could we get a symbol of what value is either dollar or percentage when entering, so it does not get confusing on the value? When entering, it's the price. The price is here. The long entry is here. Long entry 3357.3 mil. On the settings, I can't take this off now. On the settings, no, we basically we have when we enter the price, right? That's it. You mean on the P&L protection? Okay, so that's, I need to look at one that's not live. So and let's have a, that's not going to reverse anytime soon. So let's just take that strategy offline. So it says percentage or price on the P&L protection, but I'll go through it. So you see here, first of all, you see these now alerts and scheduling is minimized. This actually speeds things up a bit. So P&L protection. Right, so we're going to add one rule and we're going to add weekly instrument account profit percentage. Yeah. So if you've got a $10,000 account and you're saying $1,500 is enough, 1,000, $1,500 is my weekly, you would put 15% in there. So, okay, for an example, weekly instrument account profit percentage. Yeah. So you're going to put 15%. Yeah. And then you can add another rule. You could say, okay, also on a weekly instrument, I've done instrument, sorry, weekly account profit or weekly realized profit percentage. So in this, uh, if I put that, somebody would say, can you put it the other way? Yeah. I can make a note and see. I don't know whether we can put symbols in there. That's the thing. Mel, I will make a note for the thing. Um, change PCT for percentage and where it just says account. So where we have here weekly, so basically daily strategy profit amount, you'd need a dollar sign there. Yeah. Oh, in the value box. Oh, right. Okay. I can ask the question because we're still on iteration 4 right now. So yeah, I can do that. Yeah, not a problem. I'll ask the question. Okay. So yeah, I can understand where you're coming from there. Again, with daily max drawdown, again, you've got those weekly instrument account profit and everything like that as well. So max drawdown is if you hit a certain figure. So if we go, for example, weekly account profit, okay. So what a max drawdown is, if you reach $2,000 on your account during the week, um, and you don't want to lose any more than $200 of that. So this is across all instruments or whatever it is. You could actually say, if I hit $2,000 and I have a trade that starts pulling me back, if I go back more than $200, it just cancels and stops trading. Yeah. That's what a trading max drawdown is. And that's very, very helpful for those funded traders as well. You can do it on daily as well. You can add it as daily. But again, so now we can just keep adding these rules for losses and profits and things as well. And obviously you can't add to a trading max drawdown. You've got a set value. But you could actually set it to daily or weekly, depending on your funded trader rules, really. So we've got a lot more going off in there as well. And we can see in the alerts, I've already put my things in there. And on scheduling, on this particular one, I've put medium and I want to look ahead for 12 hours. Yeah. So if I change that to 24, for example, click apply and activate there. It didn't activate. Let me have a look. Just leave it for a minute. Is this pulling back now? Gold. So this is probably not the best time of day to actually trade VWAP Predator, and I'll tell you why. You don't see the VWAP instruments on there because I've hidden them because it makes things run faster and I get less uh, times when I get, we get the pink notices to say that you've got a data lag tolerance. You actually get that on the push notification as well to let you know there's something wrong or you've got a data connection lost. You'll get that on the push notifications as well. So that's really, really cool. But the thing is, during the day, at the beginning of the trading session from last night, the VWAP resets. And then over time, it gets wider and wider apart with those because it moves and it gets those fib extensions moving, those average true range extensions. So the better ones are sort of pre-market. Not to say that this will fail, it's just that your stop is always two extensions behind. So as they're moving further apart, your risk for every trade, the longer the day goes on, is greater. Okay. There's more momentum because there's more volume, but you just got to be aware of the VWAP Predator that there is more risk at certain times of the day. Auto break. That's not coming on. Wonder why that is. So I need to check out ZTP as well. Maybe I did something wrong. Let's have a look. What did I just change? Oh, I changed. P&L protection. Let's just disable that a second because I didn't work everything out properly. Disabled. That's part of my testing tomorrow, but I hadn't. And then scheduling. Okay. So I hadn't finished off those P&L protections. So you notice there was no error messages there because I'm using the source code, so I don't get any error messages. I have to try and figure out what it is. Just got a push notification that that's gone active again. Okay, so now you see because I've got 24 hours on there. We can see tomorrow CPI average out, non-farm employment change, blah, 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 blah. So that's all there now for tomorrow because I put that at 24 hours. Just show the push. I don't know whether you'll be able to see it on the camera, but let's have a go. So I got the Zone Trader Pro. Let's have a look. You probably won't see it. No, it won't work. Okay, just got a notification that that's gone active again because I put it out. Okay, which is pretty cool. So, any more questions on this? I mean, I've got half an hour left, so what I'm going to try and do is I haven't actually optimized any of these yet, so I'm probably going to have a look at a quick optimization for the slingshot link. That's just had a trade. Right. Okay. So 3 minute high Kanashi on with slingshot right now. Just going to look at the performance report and see where I am with that. So no real optimizations at the moment. It's still net positive, but massive drawdowns. So let's get on the analysis entry time and let's see if we've got any winning clusters on here. And we do. So I'm liking 4:30 a.m. to 5:30 a.m. That's a one hit wonder, but I'm right. I'm liking this cluster 11:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. So I'm just going to do two clusters for now. Um, just take a screenshot of that for a sec so I can compare it. Okay. Let's disable the strategy. So I'm going to go to scheduling down here. I'm going to leave that. I'm not going to leave it on low because I'm actually optimizing now. It doesn't affect the optimization, but when I put it live, I don't want it to take into a consideration low. I want it to take in medium and high. I've got my FOMC decision dates done. So now I'm going to I'm going to get a session going. So every day of the week, and I'm going to go 4:30 a.m. to 5:30 a.m. Okay, the end action, I don't want it to flatten if I'm in a trade, so I'm just going to put none there. Okay, and then session two, every day of the week, 11th, whoops, 11:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. Okay, and at the end of that action, there's still a long time left in the market, so I'm just going to have none there as well. Click apply. I haven't actually made any changes to any of this right now. I'm just going to get those winning clusters and then try and do some more micro type stuff. So let's go back to strategies a minute. See, it's the first time I've done this, so I need to be every day of the week, every day of the week, 4:30 a.m. to 5:30, 11:30. Just going to make sure because this is part of my testing right now to see this. See, this is this hover when I come over, it goes there. Um, back. Okay, there is a fault, there is an issue, and because I haven't got because I'm on beta, I've got to figure out what the issue is. So this is not good for you guys. Sorry, because I'm still in testing. Looks all right to me, but I'm just going to disable that a second and see if it comes back up. Thanks, Paul. Richard. Okay, so all right, so I am going to test it on others, but um, doesn't load. So this was on my list tomorrow to check those. So obviously that doesn't load at the moment. So I need to figure out, well, the developer needs to figure out what's going off there. Um, so that's good. I'm just going to bear with me. I'm actually just going to try one more just to make sure it's in the core and not in This is my life at the moment, guys. I'm just doing testing. So scheduling every day of the week. We're going to go from 08:29 to, let's put that at none. Let's click apply. Okay, yeah, it's something to do with the scheduling. That's cool. I found that on all. Right, perfect. Okay, guys, sorry about that. I just needed to get that in my mind. It saves me testing this tomorrow. This will all be in the logs, so I can just download the logs and send them to him. Yeah, starts back up again. Cool. Okay. So sorry about that, guys. I was again. This is in beta at the moment. You can see we're 3.4 beta point 4. So this is the fourth iteration, and I've spent all last week testing. Today was destructive testing. Tomorrow was actually doing those optimizations sessions and everything like that. So we're on track, and I can send him those. So any questions about the new upgrades for the ASBs or in the ASBs in general? Um, if not, I'm going to go to the stock predator. Stock predator, where are you? There you are. Okay, stocks predator. Let me know if you can see the stocks predator now. Anybody in the chat, let me know you can see the stocks predator. Yeah, cool. Okay. So these are the current sort of trades or the stock pick of the weeks that I've got on currently that I recorded when I did the stocks pick of the week. So this is RSI, for example. So we got full confluence at this point here on the confluence meter. I'm going to go through that in a minute. And this is where we are right now. That was the entry, and we're at 1490. Brilliant. PRK. Again, we had full confluence here. We got in, pull back, and now it's going hell for leather. Brilliant. Okay. BX is one I've been looking at. I should have done it at the beginning of the week. I've just not had time to go live. But this is the one really that came up on Sunday's scan. We had the roller coaster on the 25th of June. We had a 5-star buy on the 26th of June and all 6 time frames green. So what we have is full confluence at that point. But my support and resistance zones I've drawn on means that I've got a daily inflection point here. So my entry was going to be 153.80 with my stop below this weekly zone. Okay. So this is still good, a fifth, just above 154 today, a stop market order to go long on BX with around a 177 target price. So if you're doing options, Mel, I would look at a sort of $177 strike price. I'd wait for it to breach 154 before actually going on that particular stock. I just need it needs to clear. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with leaving that to close today. If it closes above that daily zone today, then putting the trade on tomorrow is not going to hurt that much really. So that's where we are with that one. FFIV is one of my longer term sort of investments. I've had two confluences, two alerts that confluence was here for this. The first one was down here. This is my first entry where this green is. My second entry was here, and then obviously I've got my average holding position there. PRK was another one that's doing good. Inter hasn't taken in my trade. Again, I wanted to get in above that daily zone. It's not done it. I cancel the order. Okay. HNST, again, another one. It's not gone through my entry. It's come down to test this. If I get another confluence alert here, I will be interested in leaving that order on, but not until it breaches that sort of level there. Just to go through some others on my live swing trades that weren't stocks picks of the week. Some Indian stocks here. This is an Indian ETF, mid-cap ETF. Again, so the stocks predator, we've got stocks from all over the world in that scan. So this one is pretty good. We've got full confluence down here, and we have just hanging around this weekly zone right now, but really good profit here. Titan was another one. Again, this was the entry, got full confluence at this point. This was my entry here, and this is where we are. My target's around 3,850. So good looking trade. These will blow your mind. I know some of the users got in this, and Mel, you'll back me up here. You've got in this trade, but I think you've been an RCL twice. We got full confluence down here. We basically waited to it to go through the daily zone, and we traded up to here. It pulled back and it's pushed through again. Shack, another one. Okay. This one was brilliant. I'm out of that target here, but Shack, I know Mel, you got in Shack and RCL. Mel is one of the users. Rail is another one, not quite ready to punch its way through yet, but that's ready to go, I think. 2 in 2, I occasionally do two stocks in 2 minutes. AFRM was the first time I did one. That was the entry at this point here. Again, we've got a forum for the Stocks Predator users on the Discord group. If we get a close up above here again, I'm going to adjust this stop nice and tight, but this was the entry down here when we had full confluence here. ALK was another one, but it never got taken in. Okay, so I'm going to cancel that one. ARES was another. That was the entry. It's in profit right now. To be honest, I might get a second entry on this if I can get another confluence signal. There's a lot of room up to that $200 mark here. So let's just go to the end of day scanner. We go 50 and then we'll see 3 green. Okay, so these are all of the full confluence that came on last night's scanner, which is quite a lot. And they're basically also on my dynamic watch list, which is 3 confluence bull. Okay. So the 3 confluence bull is when the scanner runs overnight, it actually, because you've built a dynamic watch list for that particular rule, you get emailed all of this stuff with Stocks Predator, which is pretty cool. When you get here, there's some things that you can actually filter out some more. So for example, if you want a beta above 1, greater than 1, means that actually it's performing on par with the S&P 500 or a little better. We can get that down a little bit. Okay, so now we've filtered that. We've got some more. Let's have a look at BCO. Have a look at that. And then all we're going to do then is we're going to look for fresh air and see where those support and resistance zones are. Some big pivots here and here, so I'm not interested in that one. We have got some pretty good fresh air on that. So let's go, always go to the weekly, and then we'll see where those big weekly zones are and we'll draw them in. I mean, that's your first point of call. So I've got pivot here, pivot there, join the dots. That's my weekly zone there, really. I've got a pivot here, head and shoulders there. No, there's no way we can do that. All you can do is do your back testing on the no, we can't do that because it's a live scanner and it updates every day. All you can do is look back on the chart for specific stocks, and I'll show you how to do that for those where confluence has worked and not. So we've got head and shoulders here, we've got a pivot here. So what we've got is, I like that here, there. Okay, very thin. Let's go back to daily. Okay. So what I'm saying about previous confluences is one of the things you can do here is look, I can see previous confluence at this point here. So what I do is go to this, put a vertical line in. Okay, that was my 6 star. Okay, full confluence, 6 out of 6. I've had my roller coaster. I've got a 6 star buy. That was my entry. So I'm marking up the charts again. So you've got full drawing tools here. That was my entry, and it took profit at that point there. So how does it behave when you get full confluence? It works pretty well. There's full confluence here. Okay, let's drop another vertical line in. This is how you back test. Okay, where's my trend line? So my entry's here. Okay, if you was using the trailing stop, which you should have been, you took a little profit there. So the last two, since May 2024, we've got full confluence, we're winners. Okay. Um, so now we've got full confluence, but we have a little bit of resistance up above. Okay. So for me, I'm going to walk away. Nope. Nope. The thing is, you've got to filter out the dross and just get the good. So here, for example, there's a lot of fresh air up to this point. So that'll be a weekly zone. As I thought, that's a nice weekly zone up there. Now those highs. I think we need to go down to we've got a weekly zone down here for support. Let's just draw that in. No harm in that. Okay. And let's go back to the daily. Okay, so we got a pivot during this. Oh, by the way, shorts just work as well if you're into puts. So I'm going to draw this daily zone on here. This pivot, these pivots. I'm going to turn that to grey because I use grey for daily. So now what we're doing live right now, 332.34. Okay, so it's in here. It's in the daily zone. So for me, simply put that the 338.10. So a break of 338 is good with a strike price of around 385 into that weekly zone is a good looking trade. This momentum's built quickly, but we need to make sure it pushes through that daily zone. Rich's BBAI has taken off. Let's have a look. So Richard's left. He was on here. He's one of the stocks predator users. So his BBI has taken off. So let's have a look at that right now. So let's go to clear my filters. I want to go end of day scanner and let's just search BBAI. Turn the filters off. There we go. Yes, it's on the weekly. I forgot what his entry was. BBAI. And Mal, you're in it as well. What? Yeah, it's broken that daily. Uh, 15, $15 calls. Target 10. Yeah, that makes sense. So this is our forum for the stocks predator users as well. So there's a lot in there, um, you know, for all the stocks that we've been trading in ETFs and things like that. Um, that is really taken off. What was the entry for you, Mel? Okay. Go to some of the closed stocks pick of the week. These will blow your mind. Why is nothing there? Because BBAI is in the search. That's why. So block ETF. We were all winners on this one. That was our confluence down here. Once we got all six, that was the long position, and it's still going now. Okay. This was a monster trade. This came up on the scanner. We all went long, and I basically so there's a video out there, guys, that I actually, before these blue lines happened, I drew them in and I said, this is what's going to happen. And this is what happened. Okay. I've been doing this for nearly 30 years now. I knew exactly if you push through one ceiling, the wrecking ball's not got enough juice to get through the next ceiling, and it will take a bit of a breather, bit of a swing, and try again. Okay. And then it did it again, and then finally it's gone through. So this came out on the Confluence scanner, and this was a great trade. Eaton was another. And again, we took profit at this point here, big earnings reaction, full Confluence here, and now it's come back since then. Don't care. We made the money. So let's go back to that three Confluence bull. Go to beta plus one. No, it's two out of three. Three Confluence bull. Beta greater than one. We were looking at something. It wasn't that one. Yeah, CMI. So yes, I don't know what the options are like for this CMI Mel Cummins, but this breaking that 338 with full confluence going into there is a good, what are we at the moment? 33234. Okay, so a close up above 338 would give us a really good options play up to 385 strike price. I don't know what the options are like for that, but that looks good. I'm just gonna, so another function we've got on here is our journaling function. So I can take a screenshot and I'm in the journal. Okay. For confluence needs to break daily resistance zone, close above 338 along with target of 385, I said. 385, yeah. 385. Okay, and then I'm going to add that to my main watch list. Okay, so you see the success there, it's been added to my main watch list. If I go back, for example, to my, let's take the filter off, go back to my stock pick of the week, take the filter off, we go to FFIV, and that's my current sort of journal. If I go to FEIM, there's three three things in my journal there. That's the first. Okay, so that's second, and then third, and then so on and so forth with RSI. Again, that's my first entry here when we were talking about where the entry would be and the actual, 112.64 entry, and then obviously updated my journal at that point. I know Mel uses that. Um, yeah, I mean, CM Cummins would have great options, definitely. So let's just go and do one more before I finish. So we go three confluence bull. Let's put the beta above 1.5. Let's take that filter off and just go beta above 1. So let's have a look at CSL for a second. Oh, a lot of resistance up above there, not interested. FAF, too choppy around that $64 mark. FREM, oh, that looks good. Okay, let's go to the weekly. First action, first IA for those military people is weekly zone. Okay, that's my weekly zone up there. Multiple touches. Let's change it back to where it needs to be. Okay, that's my weekly zone. Have I got any more? Probably daily more than weekly. That's a weekly zone underneath. Pivot, pivot, weekly zone. And if I take that across there and just take that up a little bit, all these pivots in here. Let's go back to the daily. So the gap fill to here is done. So we can put that daily zone in from the gap to this pivot here. Multiple, there's loads of clustering just here. Let's change that. And this is that fast, guys. It's not rocket science, okay? And we take that back. Whoa, we got another gap there as well. Okay, there. And that is pretty cool. Right. So I'm taking the low of that gap. That pivots in here. This gap's included with that low. I've got clustering pivots here. This is my daily zone. Okay, let's make this a little bigger. So we've got full confluence as of yesterday. So roller coaster comes first, 5-star buy, 6-star buy, and all 6 time frames green. That's why it's on our confluence scanner. So now what we're looking for is an entry above the high of yesterday. Okay, we're looking at an entry around about 40.36. We have got a little pivot here. It's a one pivot wonder. I think initially my stop would be below the weekly. Okay, let's put that red for danger, and let's measure that. 1 to 1.6 into the weekly zone. I'm happy with that risk to reward. Let's see what we're doing live now. 40.48. Wow, it's above my entry. 40.48. So that'll be a market order right now, I think. It's broken yesterday's high. Well, a lot of risk to reward if I put my stop underneath the daily, but that's a bit too risky for now. When I'm managing this trade, if I go through zero point 0.5 there, so around about $42, I would adjust my stop nice and aggressively under there. So this is a one now, Mel. I don't know what the options are like, but FRME, this is a trade now. We need a market order. We're currently at 40.51-ish, so we need a market order to go on to go long with this now. It's broken yesterday's high where we got full confluence. I should have looked at this before the session started. That's annoyed me. We've broken these previous gaps. So, gap up, gap down, weekly's a daily zone, full confluence. This is a trade right now. Okay. So just going to quickly do that. Full confluence through daily resistance and of yesterday's high, market order with target 46, no top end of there, and stop loss at 37.20. 20. Okay. And add that to my live swing trades. Let's go onto my brokerage site again a minute. Bear with me a second, guys. Okay, market orders on. Right, so that's good. I'll get a fill soon. Shit, I need to do it on this brokerage account as well. Yeah, hang on my phone. I don't want to miss these. Trade, search, F-E. Ooh, I'm currently at 40.50. Yeah. So let's trade. I'm going to go market. Let's go 5 on this one. Small accounts. End of day. US dollar. I hate European brokers. $4.15 bloody fees. Place order. I don't want to do a Trustpilot thing. Just put the order on. Okay. That's my granddaughter's account on my phone. So, okay, that's live on there. And hopefully I get a fill around 40.50 by the looks of it. Okay, so I'm going to get going in a minute, guys. AX.AX, Australia. No. This is a UK stock. Again, .L is London. Not a great deal of room up there. Any questions on the stocks predator or the ASP updates? ASP updates, I've got to get right first, okay? My testing continues, but those updates are looking pretty cool. Obviously we're adding more to it. We just need to test more. So any questions on stocks predator or the ASPs before I finish? Yeah, no fees there. Yeah. Thank you, Peter. Okay, guys, I'll get the recording of this up in due course. It'll be out tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, I got took in at 40.318. There we go. That was not a bad market order, that actually. So while we're on, let's just go to live swing trades. I'm going to adjust that now. 40.38. There we go, 40.38. We're in. I haven't put a stop on it because it's an investment, so we'll see how it goes. Okay. Cheers, Mel. Thank you. Yes, Michael, if you are registered on the Zoom, it will be automatically sent, I think. Not sure. But it will be up on YouTube tomorrow, hopefully. Cheers, guys. Thank you.